Get the cake right to the side sex. Leave the fire and the roof style stuff. I'm on the grind like we're chasing the stars. From Millmore to Do Valley, we've come so far. Talk about legends, yeah, we know the score. Ronnie and Bobby, we remember you more. From the highs of the Wembley fight to losing our trousers, still we ignite. Red and white with the pride, we're never gonna bow. Fighting like middlemen, hear the roar now. We're middlemen, we stand up tall. Through ups and downs, we give it all. From Millmore to Do Valley.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our second instalment of Midweek Millers. I think that's what we probably are going to call it going forward. I did say we would send out a poll, so we may still do that, I don't know, but I quite like the sound of Midweek Millers, so hopefully everyone else does. We've got a cracker for you today. We have a Stockport fan on who will help us review the Rotherham, or the Stockport Rotherham game that's coming up, and we've also got Tom. So Tom, first of all, how are you, my good friend?
I'm okay, Dave. Thanks for hosting the show, buddy. Nice to meet you, Steve. And yeah, let's have a good chat. Let's have a good debate.
Yeah, good. And a warm welcome to Steve. So Steve, first of all, thanks for joining. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, and also let us know, or where the fans out there know, how they can find your podcast?
Yeah, sure, mate. Good. Thanks for having us, because I day at the office and talk about football is a welcome break from the daytime stuff. So anytime, mate, anytime. So yeah, I'm a Stockport fan. I've been going all my life since I was about 8 years old. My whole family are Stockport fans now. I've even converted a Bolton fan to be a Stockport fan, which is a bonus. Nice. My wife took some doing, but she's fully converted now. But yeah, I mean, I just love it. I mean, as you know, we live in the shadows of United and City. So when I was at school, there weren't a lot of Stockport fans about, with a minority, but I've only ever supported one club, and it'll never change for me. But nowadays, you go around Stockport, and what used to be, you'd see City United shirts everywhere, but now it's Stockport shirts. You see more Stockport shirts than City United's, which is a refreshing change, to be honest, and welcomed.
No, that's excellent. I mean, that's good actually today. I mean, if I remember correctly, though, you were still getting, when Stockport were in the lower leagues, let's say, you were still getting quite strong support, weren't you? Because I remember I took an interest in Stockport when you were in the National League North. Obviously, it's not very nice seeing a decent-sized club, in my opinion, very similar to Rotherham at that level. But I did notice, I'm sure you were still getting strong crowds. Is that right?
Yeah, to be honest, the crowds went up in non-league. It was weird at first. I mean, we got in there first, and it was like, I think there was a bit of big club syndrome from ourselves, and you see it with the likes of Bolton and teams like that when they drop into League One. They think they should still be in the Premiership, and we dropped into the conference, and I think most Stockport fans thought, yeah, but we'll be straight back up there. No worries, but you've got to adjust to it, because the moment you're in there, you're an equal, and you've got no divine rights to do anything, and you've got to learn to, accept it and then battle. But the fans were there from straight away, and they kept growing in non-league, and we actually had a bigger fan base in non-league than we did in the old League One, League Two days, which was bizarre.
Wow,
really good.
Interesting. So, and just quickly, what is the podcast called, did you say?
Yeah, sorry, mate. It's called Scarf Bagara War. The Scarf Bagara War. So,
I assume that is to do with Danny Bagara. Is that correct?
Yeah. So Danny Bagara, for those who don't know, he was a bit of a legendary Stockport manager.
Yeah, the league we do know about him.
Yeah. No worries.
Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, he was the first. I don't know if you know, but he was the first kind of foreign manager to lead an English team out at Wembley. So before the influx of all the foreign legion came in, he was the first. So when we're in I think it was the Autoglass Trophy final back in '92, I think it was. And the scarf my father wore is like our club anthem, the song we win, the song we sing. It's all about passing the scarf down through generations. So it's kind of a play on words, the Scarf Bagara War.
Right. Well, it is interesting because, we also had Danny Vergara as our manager as well. But
Oh,
unfortunately, he does go down as probably one of our most worst ever managers, because we
didn't work out, did it?
No, we were in a similar stage where we are now. We were in equivalent to the League One. He basically took us down into League Two, and Rotherham had always had kind of this record where they had been at League Two or Division 4, Division 3, whatever you want to call it, but they wasn't in there long. Before the 90s, they'd go down, but they'd pretty much get straight back up pretty much every single time. But that particular period, he took us down to League Two, and it took us about 3 years to get back up. So it were almost our worst, if you like, our worst group in the seasons until we had a worst group about 15 years ago. So yeah, he doesn't. The name Danny Vergara doesn't bode well, unfortunately, around Rotherham.
Yeah, sometimes you've got to be the right man at the right club at the right time, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
And sometimes it clicks, and what works for one club doesn't work for someone else. I mean, you just look at Louis Barry, who we had on loan. He was phenomenal at us. He's done it nowhere else, nowhere. But at our club, 2 loans, he's been phenomenal. So it's the same with players, the same with managers. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Right, so let's get into the game on Saturday. So obviously, for those of you who don't know, it will be Stockport County against Rotherham United at Stockport's ground, which I'm hoping is still called Edgley Park. Yeah,
it's still called Edgley Park.
We get that many sponsored names now. I mean, I would say that about our own. I mean, ours was called the New York Stadium. We have got a sponsor before it, but to be fair to the club, they've kind of done it right, where they named the ground. It had the New York Stadium for the first 4 or 5 years, and then they put a sponsor on after. But people call it New York Stadium, so you don't say the sponsor name. So that's pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah. Can I just ask you a question about your club, though, in your ground? Because I used to love going Millmore. Right? It was one of my favourite grounds. I loved it. What's going on with it? Because every time I go to your ground, it's there, and it looks like you could play a match on it.
Yeah, not a lot's going on it at the minute. I mean, it does get used for certain games. Like we had Sunday League football on there. We've had like finals. We've had some sort of like friendlies. Not Rotherham. So Rotherham United have got nothing to do with it. But there's a ruling where you can't, for some reason, you aren't allowed to knock it down. That land has got to be kept as like a sports venue, so that's why it's still there. You see, if you see Kid, I think he's still got like the nets up and stuff. Yeah, and like I said, it has been used for like Sunday League football and finals and stuff like that, but it's not used very often these days.
Yeah. I had my first pucker pie there in the 90s.
Did you? Any good?
Yeah. It was. I went on about it for years. It's like the best pie I've ever had. I think pies have moved on a bit these days, but back then in the 90s, it was quality.
Yeah. Let's just get some comments before we carry on. Tom says, looks like Bavery's snapped another hamstring. Yeah, Ross Bavery's on about. All right, lads, with the injury to Hull, surely you have to go back to back for Rafferty back at the right back. Again, Big Jim, I'd agree, but he won't do that. He will stick with 3 at the back. Rotherham going, hello. Romoff, all we get is Wednesday and Blade shirts with a bit of leaves. Yes, who's referring to what you were saying, Steve, about, because it's interesting. When I was at school, we had probably 15% were Rotherham fans, 30% were Wednesday, 30 were United, and obviously the rest were just little like other clubs in and around Man U, Leeds, whatever. So very similar to you, really. Right, let's go on to Saturday. So Stockport County. Now I've looked at your form, and your form's kind of up and down. I know you beat Harrogate. I'm assuming that was a couple of nights ago. Yeah. You beat Huddersfield. I believe that was last week. But your form has been very volatile, I'll say. A lot of win losses like that. So, first of all, what are you expecting from the game on Saturday, and what can we expect from the Stockport team?
Right. Well, I mean, you're dead right when you say volatile in terms of form. I wouldn't even just say in terms of games; it's in terms of halves as well. We've been all over the place this season, and at one point you think it's going well, and then you go and get beat, and you go on a terrible run. we've struggled like all clubs have struggled, and I think you're struggling at the moment with injuries, and that's been a real problem for us. In terms of, I don't want to use that as an excuse because we've got a big squad and we've got a good squad, and a squad, most of them were here last season and we finished third on 83 points or 87 points or whatever it was. But we've struggled this year. We've had players that were signed before the season who hasn't kicked a ball yet. Our captain's not kicked a ball yet this season. Lewis Bate. But that said, the squad's good enough and we can't hide behind that. So we've really struggled with consistency, but the main problem is scoring goals. So we're really struggling in that kind of final third of the field to kind of create quality chances. We put aimless balls in the boxes, but nothing to, nothing of note. And we also struggled when Ollie Norwood went out for about 6 weeks. That really cost us. And as you can imagine, he's a quality player. He's best player I've ever seen at the club by a mile. Really?
Wow. Yeah. High praise. I mean, we do know a little bit about him because he obviously was the legend at our neighbours, Sheffield United. And to be fair, I don't know how I picked up on it, but I can remember thinking, or I remember when he did get injured and you could see Stockport's results kind of dwindle after he got injured. And we kind of assumed, if you like, that it was possibly because Norwood kind of ran the show. And I assume he takes every set piece as well and stuff like that. Is that right?
He does. He takes all the set pieces, but it wasn't just because Norwood was missing. It was a combination. So Lewis Bate out for the season. Callum Camps has been out for about 2 or 3 months. And then you lost Ollie Norwood as well. And that was everybody in the centre. Now, if you lose 1 or 2 of them, you can probably carry it with one of the other players. But to lose all 3 just kind of messed us up big style. So we really struggled. And even when he came back, we didn't look the same team. The bad news for you is the last 2 games, we have finally looked like we can back to the type of team we should be, which is kind of pressing, lots of the ball, kind of a high line, winning every second bottle, that type of stuff. That for the last 2 games, that's come back. So we played Reading away, and we looked pretty decent. And then they got Lewis Wing banged a wonder goal in the last minute, which was a cracking goal. And then against the Huddersfield, we scored in the 96th minute. But we had all the game, but we just couldn't create opportunities. And that's a real issue for us. And it needs sorting. This transfer window is massive for us because if we don't sort that, we're going to slip back down the table because the aspirations is for us as the club and the plan that we're on is to get promoted, basically.
Steve, I just want to say last season, that playoff game, was it against Dorian? You got absolutely mugged right off.
Oh, I know.
As a fan base, how do you recover from a decision like that? Because I'd be absolutely bloody fuming, to be honest with you, mate.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing it up.
I mean, honestly, I watched it and I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah. It wasn't even slightly offside, was it?
No, it wasn't.
You were like
it was
6 yards off, and it was. I was at that game, and it was when you're at the game. We were at the other end of the stadium, and we're looking at thinking that looked clearly offside. But you know what it's like when you're at the game. You get an impression of something, and then my phone lit up, and like all my mates who are at home and stuff are texting me saying that's mile offside, not even close. And so it's a bit hard, isn't it? It's hard to take. Because over a season, you get decisions against you, and then you get decisions for you, and they kind of iron out over the season. But that one in particular, that really cost us. But to be honest, though, over the 2 legs, we weren't quite good enough, and again, we didn't take the chances. So it did feel a bit of an injustice, and it was hard to take. But at the end of the day, if we'd bagged the chances we were given, it wouldn't even have been an issue. So. What can you do?
Yeah, exactly. I know, mate. It was terrible, and I felt for your fans. I really did. I did.
So, Tom, so obviously Steve's given us kind of a good insight into Stockport this season and how they play, and it sounds like very similar to us that they don't score many goals. So maybe we can get a 0-0 draw. What are your thoughts then hearing that? Does it give you a little bit of hope? Because to be honest, Steve, we've not got a lot of help. And I'll go for the comments in a minute, and you can probably see from the comments yourself, if you can see them, that, yeah, it doesn't look like we've got any hope. But from what you said, Tom, does that give you any hope for Saturday or not?
Absolutely zero hope. Sorry to any Rotherham fan listening, or to most of the Rotherham fans listening. I think, and I hate to be so negative. I think, Steve, your boys will be absolutely fine on Saturday, unless this wonder kid that we've signed, Harry Gray, tears you a new one. But end of the day, he needs service. I believe we've got the lowest expected goals. Whether people not buy into XG, I don't know, but stats don't lie. We're away from home, which famously we're not very good away from home in the last God knows how many years. If I was a Stockport County fan, I'd be very disappointed with nothing less than 3 points on Saturday. We have rumoured that we're having players coming back. We don't know which players are coming back, but we know for certain that probably one of the best signings we've made this season is out for the next 3 months. That's Denzel Hall.
Where does he play, mate?
He's a threat. He's a wing back, sort of inside forward.
Yeah.
He creates stuff basically.
Is he on the right or left?
Right.
Right hand side.
I remember him at your place. Yeah.
Any good sort of stuff that comes from us usually comes from him, and we've not had many good things come to us this season, Steve. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I would probably put my mortgage on you having a comfortable victory on Saturday. Sadly,
well,
for us,
the missing link for us has been that, like I said, in that final third, someone to kind of be attacking, to drive through the lines, and we've just signed a player last week called Josh Stokes. And he looks like,
is he come from? Is it York? He's come from? Did he go?
No. He's come from Bristol City, but he was.
Didn't Bristol City buying from York and lower him straight out to you? I think. Is that
no
not
Aldershot, mate?
Aldershot. Sorry, yeah, Aldershot. You're right. Yeah,
that's the guy. Yeah. So, well, we know about him because when we were in League 2, Aldershot knocked us out the cup when they were non-league, and he was like the star man. And he scored a goal against us. And then last season, he was on loan at Cambridge, and he scored 2 against us, and they got relegated. So, and I believe he metatarsal bone in his foot or something. So he's not really kicked a ball this season, and he's joined us. But he bagged 2 on Tuesday night in the Aviva Trophy against Harrogate. I mean, it was Harrogate, so there was second bottom in the League 2, but his finishing looked really good. So, and we just signed a player. Since we've been online, we just signed a guy from Bolton called Josh Dakers-Cogley. He's like a right wing back.
Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah, he's not bad. He'll fit in your team, definitely. No.
Right, let's quickly go through some comments. A lot of these, you are going to get some sort of message, Steve, from us that a bunch of no-hopers. And the only thing I can think of is that sometimes when you go into a game and you think you've got no chance, you get a shock result. That could happen. That's my only hope, to be honest. Tom Swift, Steve, you will have the easiest game of the season on Saturday with Coco the Clown still in charge. Romanoff, we have had loads of injuries and we ain't got a big squad or a good squad. Again, it's interesting because our chief operating officer did an interview with the local press here, and he said that he thinks the manager shouldn't be judged because he's never had a fully fit squad to work to. So as a club, we are using that as an excuse at the minute, which I don't think is good enough, to be honest. Tom Swift, apart from Saturday, hope you have a good season and go up. Big admirer of Dave Chelney. He's a cracking manager again. I really like Dave Chelney. It's true that he's improved. He's improved himself, hasn't he? Every single season in the league. Is that right? He started it. We were at Artful, weren't he? That's where he made his name. Yeah. So he would have gone down to Stockport. But with Stockport, you've improved every season since you've had him. Is that right?
Yeah, he has. There's this kind of record knocking about. It's not actually true, but he there's a rumor has it that he's only ever finished in the playoffs or won promotion, And that's sort of true, but it's only when he's had a full season in charge. He actually got sacked at Fylde, so he didn't get. And in the COVID season, when it finished points per game, he didn't make it that year. But apart from that,
I didn't realise he didn't Fylde, to be honest. So yeah, that's fair enough. Rome off, yes. If you're looking for goals, I know a right sharpshooter. You can sign on loan. Kian Atete, he's a beast. Try getting him in on Saturday. I think there's a lot of sarcasm in that, Steve. He's just being sent back by Rotherham, and he's one of the worst strikers we've ever seen. I think that's what he's saying. Nick Yoll and Stockport will play us off the park Saturday, but hoping Leeds Starboy gets off to a good start up the Millers. We will come on to this guy who we're all talking about, Steve. Don't worry. Paul Damage, he can only score if we give him some service. Where that's good from, I don't know. Again, we'll come on to that later. Wayne, I don't know if this is a Rotherham fan or a Stockport fan, but he's saying we will win 2-1. I don't know if that's Rotherham or Stockport.
Wayne's a Rotherham fan, Baz. He's
okay, fair enough. And Dusty Miller, where is Bushy? Yeah, Bushy's not very well, I'm afraid. He's tucked up in bed, coughing his little mouth off, unfortunately. He'll be back on Monday, don't you worry. Romorth, the big unknown is if Nombe's back. Yeah, agreed, because he can score. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Okay, let's move on now. I've already kind of told Steve about this, but as I said, I think that Rotherham are heading towards kind of a rough period in their history. It looks like they're going to go down to League Two, and I've already said it. I think there's a chance if this carries on, they could end up going down to the conference. Now, obviously, Stockport, they were at their lowest level only 6-7 years ago, which was the Conference North. I think that's your lowest ever finish, I assume. Yeah. So, Steve, what I wanted to know was kind of what it was like when you were down there. Was it difficult kind of following the team, and what hope did you have when you were down there? Because I guess a lot of Rotherham fans, it is difficult this season. A lot of fans have kind of given up. They're very miserable. And I think we just want a little bit of hope. So I'm hoping you can give us something from your experience of being at that level, which might get some Rotherham fans, feel a bit more positive about themselves, let's say.
Well, you don't want to go to that level, and I don't think you will. But, I mean, I can't see it. But the only hope I can give you is you can have a beer at the side of the pitch.
Oh, yeah. That's a good shout. Yeah, great shout, though. Yeah.
But no, honestly, I mean, we dropped into, I think it was 11 years ago now, we dropped into what was the conference. And like I said, we went in with, I don't want to say big clubs, and I suppose it is. When you drop to that level, it's like a Premiership side dropping to League One.
Yeah.
We dropped from the Championship all the way to the conference. We're playing part-time clubs. And we think, this is going to be easy. We'll walk this league, and then you get a reality check, and it's not like that. So it takes a while to become accustomed to it, acclimatise to it all, and find your feet. Unfortunately for us, we were being mismanaged and misowned really, really badly. And we went again. We dropped to the Conference North, and we nearly dropped again. It was very close to dropping out of the Conference North.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, very, very close. Fortunately, kind of a bit of fan ownership of the club and the right people who know the club and the right manager for us. It was a guy called Alan Lord who'd been around the club for years. He's a scout and stuff. He's been part of the setup. He stabilised us, and then we got Jim Gannon back in. Unfortunately, Jim knows how to kind of build a team on a little budget, and he got us back up. He got us back up from the North back to the conference, and it was from that moment, fortunately, the investment came in with Mark Stock taking over the club. But I don't think you'll drop. I mean, whether you drop into League Two or not this season, I was at your place. I thought you were too good to go down, to be honest. It were a close game, but the problem you've got is when these results start setting in and you've lost, I think, 6 on the bounce, it can be a bit contagious. Can't it? 7, is it? It can be contagious, and you need to stop that as soon as possible. But hopefully you'll be okay. But there's a lot of positives about being in the non-league. The fans come together like you wouldn't believe. And we saw our attendances grow. We're going to grounds that you've never heard of, North Ferriby, Gateshead, Southport, or Bradford. Like, we go to Bradford, but not Bradford. It's Bradford Park Avenue with a running pitch around it. And there was one game we were there, and all the fans were like sat on the hill. They stick a beer tent there for you. Someone got hold of a wheelbarrow and they're going around the pitch at half time on a wheelbarrow. It's ridiculous. But lots and lots of good memories. But it's hard, and it's not easy to get out of. And our owner came in and he bankrolled us. Not getting from the North to the Conference, but he bankrolled us to get from the Conference to League Two, without a doubt.
Well, I did want to talk about that actually, but just quickly, it's an interesting point you make about the fans coming together, because what I've kind of found at Rotherham, and I found this for a good 15, 20 years now, is that the fan base is always split down the middle. So every time a decision's made, whether it's a manager, a player, or whatever, you always have 50% of Rotherham fans who are against it, and 50% of fans who are for it. And we've had that literally. I can remember when Ronnie Moore, who was a legend at Rotherham, when he came back to Rotherham to manage them the second time, 50% loved him and 50% thought he should never go back. And I just think it's kind of started from there. And I just wonder if you're saying that when you kind of did go to that lower level, and the fans got together and kind of got on the same page, that's obviously helped you. And now look, you're now obviously you're higher than Rotherham, and you could be 2 leagues above Rotherham next season. And I did want to ask you about that. So the chairman, so obviously Stockport, it's known now that they've got quite a lot of money behind them. So I'm interested in where did that come from? Like, no disrespect to Stockport or Rotherham, but a lot of Rotherham fans will say there is no chance that we'll ever get a lot of money coming, whether it be an Englishman, an American, someone from the Middle East, because it's not an attractive proposition. But I'd argue Stockport wasn't either. So how did you get this rich chairman to come in? How did you persuade him to come in and basically bankroll you to the championship almost? Yeah,
so I mean, when we dropped into the conference, we had some right fly-by-nights take us over and nearly send us out of existence. But it were that close. We could have lost the club. If anybody wants, I won't put you through it, but on the Scarf Bagara War podcast, there's a series of podcasts called The Dark Days, and it breaks down what went on, and you just would not believe that went on. We had this one chairman came in, and he went to the fans. He said, "Oh, come on, you get a choice. Do you want?" We're in non-league at the time. There's a guy called George Donnelly, a striker, or Jamie Vardy. You vote. We picked George Donnelly, but we didn't know at the time. But George Donnelly had been on loan and banged a couple of goals in, so he looked pretty good. But we could have had Jamie Vardy, but we're mismanaged. Absolute chancers who come in and absolutely did not care and nearly ruined the club. And it was only getting the right people on board and running the club, people who knew what it was like to be a Stockport fan. The same for you guys, know the heart of the club, getting involved, who took the time to find the right owners. And we were looking for owners for years and years. There was rumours of the Vincent Company coming in from City. There was Michael Brown, who's a local guy, coming in and stuff like that. And it just seemed to go on for years. And then we heard about this businessman called Mark Stott, and he's a City fan. So he's not a Stockport fan.
I'm a City fan, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but he's a Stockport businessman. And he saw an opportunity. I think he wanted to dabble in the club. I don't think he expected it to cost as much as he did, but he's big on, it's not just about the football, it's about the education as well. So he's building an education pathway. He wants to have 1,000 Stockport students going to his education centre, learning either whether it's a player pathway or my son's on it. He's doing sports analysis pathway.
Nice.
And so he's trying to build something big. And he's openly admitted he's not here for the long term. He wants to be part of the education for the long term, but he's investing. And I think everything he puts into the club, he converts to shares. So we don't have any debt. He's put 29 million in, and that's just converted to shares. And I think his long-term plan is get us to the Championship, make us more attractive in terms of a proposition. He's done plans are signed off for the ground. So there's these big stadium plans for our ground to develop it into 18,000, which would be more than enough.
Yeah.
And I think he's developing a proposition, and then eventually he will sell it to the right person, and he'll probably keep a minority share or something like that. But it's been honest to God, it's been a breath of fresh air. The guy's he's a proper good businessman, and he doesn't get involved with the day-to-day football running. He's not interested in that. He's got a director of football who does that, CEO, and I can't explain how bad it was for Stockport. We had something like 2 part-time staff. We were a part-time football club as well. We went part-time.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
It was so bad, and now we've got like 200 and something staff members.
Wow,
it's ridiculous.
Look, I was going to come to you, Tom, as well. I mean, at least this should give you some, positive thoughts, because it doesn't matter where Rotherham are, where they're going. If Stockport County can kind of get this level of investment, level of kind of continuity and all that, then we can as well, I'd say. So, Tom, listening to Steve there, do you feel that could happen to Rotherham, or are we miles off that, do you think? Because one thing I will say is Stockport have had to be very patient, it sounds like, because, Steve, you did mention there that, the club was really dire for a long period of time. So, Tom, thoughts?
Well, so we could wind back, Bez, 18 years ago, couldn't we? With the regime that we were at, and we could be saying what Steve's saying now. But that's 18 years ago. This is here and the now. Do you know what? I want to say to Steve and you, Bez, do you know what, lads? We are proper football fans. And I'll say this. Support where you're from. Support your team through thick and thin. I'll tell you what, I prefer watching non-league football and league football than Premier League. I do. I genuinely do. I know a lot about football, but I would rather watch proper passionate fans that are passionate about their club over some tourists at the Etihad or Anfield or Old Trafford or whatever, right? For me, league football and certainly non-league football is brilliant. And answer to your question, Bez, it sounds to me, as Steve was saying, that this guy's come in, and like he says he just wants to do this and that, and he'll sell it at the right time. And that sounds great. 2 part-time staff to now 200 plus staff. That is fantastic. But Steve, I want to take you back somewhere, pal. I want to take you back to the 9th of February 2002. At Millmoor.
Yeah.
This is one of my favourite ever Rotherham games that I ever attended. I would have been 16 at the time. Right? It finished Rotherham 3, Stockport 2. And I remember the game really well at Millmoor. It was probably one of the most exciting games I've ever been to in my life. I remember you had Carlton Palmer playing for you at the time. And Challoner played for you as well. At this point, it was, I believe. So in goal, we had Pollitt, Swales, Hurst, Brian McIntosh, Kevin Watson, Chris Sedgwick, John Mullen, Andy Monkhouse, Alan Lee, Mark Robbins. You had Lee Jones, Dave Challoner, Colin Woodthorpe, Alistair Gibb, Keith Briggs, Carlton Palmer, Aaron Lescott. Is that a relation to Julian?
I don't think he was. No, I'm not sure, but
But Aaron Lescott, I think he came from Wednesday.
Damien Delaney, Andrew Welsh, Luke Beckett. I always remember he was pretty handy.
He was.
And Andrew Thomas. Now, the reason I remember this game is you were winning, and then my mate, we brought on Mark Robbins, famously saved Alex Ferguson's job. He comes on and scores 2 goals. Sedgwick scored the first in the 33rd. John Hardiker scored in the 77th. Then Robbins equalised in the 83rd. Took the lead in the 83rd. That was the retaken penalty because he had to retake the penalty. I remember it. And then Damien Delaney scored in the 86th, and Robin scored in the 90th. And Mike Pollitt, our goalkeeper, saved a penalty last kick of the game. That is one of my fondest ever memories of a game, because I remember my mate saying, why are we bringing Mark Robbins on? He's rubbish. And he scored 2 goals. But sorry, Steve, I just wanted to remind you of that, pal.
Thanks very much.
It's interesting, actually, because I don't remember the game, I'm not going to lie. And I just quickly looked. I kind of was going to mention this anyway, because obviously I would have been around 16, 17, 18 as well. So similar to yourself, Tom. And so when I first started going to Rotherham games on my own, so I'd go with my dad, but obviously when you get to 18, you go on your own. Stockport County and Rotherham were 2 championship sides then. That was a championship game.
That was our last year in the championship, wasn't it? We got relegated that season.
Yeah, you got 26 points or something like that.
I remember Carlton Palmer playing for you. It was weird.
Sorry, Steve.
We still did the double over Manchester City that season.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Oh, was that the same season? Oh,
right. Is that the season where I forgot his name? There's a striker who played for Stockport, and I want to say he was a Man City fan. Aaron Wilbraham, did he play that season? Is that the same one?
Wilbraham did. There was a guy for us called Alan Bailey who scored at Main Road, and he was a City youth player. Maybe it was him.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay. But anyway, yeah. So we're going to move on now to Rotherham talk, Steve. So as I said at the start, you're welcome to stay on, or you can drop off. Just let me know either way. Don't mind which you'd rather do.
Yeah, I'm going to drop off in a minute, going because I've got the whole family waiting to watch Traitors. But I did just have one question for you, and I don't want to kind of spoil anything you may not be talking, but my main worry this week was Matt Hamshaw was going to get sacked and you'd get the new manager bounce. And I kind of read on your forum that some people were kind of talking about that might happen. Is that out of the question now?
Yeah. So basically, just to cut a long story short, our chairman has been on holiday for about 6 weeks. And he was back in the office today, and we weren't sure if, obviously, we played a game on Tuesday, got hammered, lost 3-0, and there were half talks that when the chairman comes in Thursday, he'll sack the manager because it's his first day back, kind of thing. But he's still there now. I can't see him being sacked Friday. He's done the press conference, the pre-match press conference. So it's probably 0 chance that he gets sacked. When we lose on Saturday, there's a chance he could get sacked after. So Sunday, Monday. Yeah. Before you go, what's your score prediction for Saturday?
I'm going to go. We've tightened up at the back. We're not conceding. We've only conceded 1 in the last 3 games, which was that wonder goal from Lewis Wing. And so I don't think we'll concede. I do think now Josh Stokes is in the side. I think we'll score. So I'm going to go for 2-0.
And before Steve goes, Tom, what's your prediction? So Steve can hear it.
Steve, I think you're a crackingly run club now, mate. And I think we are lambs to the slaughter this weekend, unless our new wonder kid does Messi, Ronaldo-esque sort of stuff. I can only see it being a win for you, and I'm going to say 3-0 Stockport. Sorry.
I'm gonna use what you said, Steve, and I'm going to go 0-0 because we can't score. You've said that you don't really score, and you know one thing that Hamshaw might do, because he tried it on Tuesday, he might go to play for a 0-0. And if we sit back and you can't break us down, like you're kind of suggesting that you can't, then we might get a 0-0 draw. So I'm going for 0-0.
It could happen. Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, look, guys, best of luck for the rest of the season. Don't get relegated. You deserve better than that. But, you know, if things do go sour, I'm sure you'll come straight back. But I don't think you'll go down. I've seen you this season. You're a lot better than your position in the table says. So good luck.
I hope you're right. And cheers for joining. And just before you go, again, what's the podcast that you're on? What's it called?
It's called the Scarf Bagara War. But we've got a website and it's got a match centre for Saturday. So you just search for scarfbagara.war.co.uk and there's loads of information in there for both clubs. It's got our previews on there and stuff like that. So just have a look. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks for joining,
Good luck,
Steve.
Brilliant.
Thanks, mate.
Saturday. See ya.
Cheers,
All
guys.
the best, pal.
Thank you. See you, mate.
Yeah, mate.
Right, Tom. Right then, Tom. So first of all, thoughts on Steve and Stockport, quickly.
I think Steve's a very well-informed, passionate fan, and listen, what a great guest to get on. Well done for that, Bears. Brilliant.
Right,
Absolutely
let's
great.
just quickly go through some comments. So I'm up to this one. So it's only time Bush will be quiet. LOL. I couldn't agree more, Paul. Romoff, view of the pitch sounds better already. Again, that was from Steve, so you could drink at the game. Tom Swift, the manager's lost the dressing room, would stay up with a new manager, around some new ideas. I think we all agree with that. Romoff, our biggest problem is when our main players aren't fit, and they never are. We have a massive drop-off in quality and effort. Couldn't agree more. This makes me jealous. Apologies for that, Romoff. I didn't really think about that when we were getting Steve to go on. Why can't we have an owner like that? Don't worry, we may get one. You never know. It took Stockport a long time to get to where they are. So maybe if we had a bit of patience. The thing with Rotherham fans is we aren't a very patient club. We're only in League One near the bottom. It could be a lot worse. We could be near the bottom of League Two. So, it could still get worse, this, unfortunately. And Test Riggs, finally the chance to hear other opinions on Rotherham, not just Bushy. Ha, ha, ha. Yes, I couldn't agree more. Philip. Right then, Tom. We're going to move on to transfers, and we're going to start by discussing Harry Gray. So, for all of you that don't know and have lived in under a rock, Rotherham have agreed to sign Harry Gray. Oh, in fact, we've got Adam who's joined us. Adam,
Jesus Christ.
Where's that come from? Were you all right?
I text you, but you didn't reply.
Oh, did you? Sorry, I must have missed it. My apologies. Right, Adam. First of all, before we carry on, we've kind of missed the Stockport side of it. We've just lost.
I've just been watching it, yeah.
Yeah. So just quickly, thoughts on Stockport and score prediction, just quickly.
Well, I think obviously Stockport's, what are they, top 5? So I think
Stockport are currently, because I had it up a minute ago, fourth. Yeah, fourth.
So, I mean, with Denzel going out, Dango's, it seems to have gone. Nobody's mentioned anything on Dango, so I'm not too sure what's going on with him.
Lee put in the chat earlier that he thinks he's fit for this weekend. So I don't know if that's true or not.
Kean Spence, we don't know what's happening with him.
Yeah.
It's gone. Oh, no, Spence. No, he's fine. Yeah, he's all right.
No, Kean Spence. He's
I
injured,
thought he said a Tete. Sorry, Adam.
Oh, yeah, I know. To be
Keon,
honest,
yeah.
when a Tete arrived, I thought big things. But yeah, I think if Dango's playing, I'd put Yearwood next to him, sweeping up. Let Dango have a bit of an attacking midfielder role, and play Nombi and Gray up front. Obviously, Martha, I saw your post on Martha. Yeah, he's not been doing good. But I think Martha because Joe Powell's injured as well, isn't he?
I've not heard that, to be honest. I've not heard that. So.
Oh, actually, yeah. So we'll do Goran, Powell in middle. Yearwood just behind him. Martha on the left. And it looks like on the right, we're going to play.
Rafi.
He's gonna stick to 3 at back, that is for sure. So just give us your score prediction quickly.
I'll go 2-2. Harry Gray, 2 goals.
Okay. Right then, let's move on. So before you joined, Adam, we were just about to go on to transfers. So obviously, for all of you who don't know, I was in the middle of kind of telling everyone, Rotherham have today signed, or was it yesterday, Harry Gray. Now, Harry Gray is a 17-year-old Leeds Academy player who everyone's been raving about him. Everyone's saying he's a bit of a wonder kid. There were rumours that big clubs like Manchester City were interested in getting him for about 30-40 million. So it does look like a promising player. Now, I personally have my doubts because obviously we've sent Sheriff back, and if you like, this kid has replaced Martin Sheriff. Now, for me, Martin Sheriff, actually, I thought could have been a good player, but it didn't work at Rotherham. And I've just got this feeling that we don't seem to do well with youngsters who come on loan. We never seem to do well. And Lee kind of mentioned it on his kind of post there, on his video earlier. I don't know if this signing actually is going to be a good signing. I do worry if he starts the game and he does something bad, misses an open net or whatever. Rotherham fans traditionally quickly get on his back, and that puts loads of pressure on his shoulders. So I have to say, I'm not as excited as a lot of Rotherham fans are. So, Tom, what are your thoughts on the signing? Why do you think we signed him, and do you think it will be a success?
So the reason we've signed him is, I imagine there was a few clubs in for him, but negotiations with loans, basically what Hamshaw's done on his team, they've gone with a begging bowl saying, please let him sign for us. We'll play him every single minute. I know he's only 17. We'll play him all the time. And his interviews have already given that away. Game time, plenty of game time. I imagine the likes of maybe some lower-end championship clubs saying, yeah, we'll use him frugally. Do you know what I mean? We'll give him 10 minutes here and there. Much like we did with George Hurst when we got George Hurst off Chef Wednesday. So that's the reason I think he's here, because we have said, listen, he's 17. If you're good enough, if you're old enough, you're good enough, whatever it is, right? We'll play him, right? So we'll play him. That's the first point. I think the lad is obviously highly, highly rated, and I've got lots of Leeds mates that live around here in Scotland, and they're saying, "Oh, you pulled that off," and I'm like, "Yeah, you know what?" But what I do think, Bez and Adam, I think the club have put all their eggs in one basket here. They are literally. Is it an American football term, the Hail Mary? We're putting all our faith to a 17-year-old kid to get us out of the absolute mud. And I was watching videos on the Rotherham United socials today, and it was like him scoring goals in open nets and all that sort of stuff. And I know they're not going to show us anything else, but I mean, I know Toddy's trying to get a feel-good factor about a signing that we've made. But you've got to remember this kid's 17 years old, and that this is papering over a crack. And do you know what? Don't get me wrong. I hope that he starts on Saturday, and I hope he absolutely blows it up. But if you think about Harry Kane, didn't blow it up at Leyton Orient. No. George Hurst certainly didn't blow it up with us. But do you know what? I wish the lad well, and I know he'll have a good career. But I just think this is a bit soft.
I think you're right. I think he will start on Saturday. And so let me get this right. The reason that Leeds and he has chosen Rotherham is because we will offer more game time than every other club. Is that what you think?
100%. There can be no other reason.
No, I agree. I agree with you. What I would say, though, is when you say we've thrown all our eggs in one basket, this finance this deal will be low. I will say that. He's got to a low contract because he's only 17. He can't sign like a professional contract because you can't get that until you're 18. So his contract will be low. And even if we're paying all of his wages, it will only be at most like £1,000 a week. So I would argue that it is a bit of a low risk signing because we're not financing it a lot. That's what I would say. Adam, what's your thoughts? So do you agree with Tom? Disagree? Do you think he'll do well for Rotherham? What do you think?
No, but I think, Bez, you're absolutely 100%. Because he's 17, he can't sign an actual big contract till his 18th birthday. I know Leeds on his 18th birthday promised him, obviously, a big contract. So, yeah, you're exactly right. He'll be on about, I bet he's on about £1,000 a week. So even if we're paying half of that, £500 a week, it's nothing for us. But then does that read something to us? Have we got that little money we can't afford?
Yeah.
Is that why we've gone for him? But then are our scouts that good that they've gone for him and thinking? But I know, because I just read, I listened to Ami's interview on the way back from work, and he said Leeds want him to work with Ami because that's why they know he's a good coach. He will bring him on, like he has a few of the youth players. But I think, yeah, I know Rotherham's. I have seen all the videos. Unfortunately, Millers are milking it. Every single video, and you mentioned to him, I think, he's against Raggett on that little thing when he turns and shoots it in, and they all go great finish.
I have to say, Adam,
exactly.
Yeah, I have to say, Adam, as well. Like the club, like I've never known the club milk such a signing ever. We've seen him training, we've seen him walk into the ground, we've seen him do his photo shoots. Like, I mean, you know what? I get it, and I respect the club for doing it because the club know that the fans are currently miserable and they don't like the way things are going, and the club are trying to cheer them up. And you know what? Why not get behind a signing? Why not get behind a good signing? I actually don't mind that, to be honest with you. Let's get it.
I get it. But
he's even been on the interview, the pre-match interview tonight. So it was Hammy, and then it went to him.
Yeah.
Of anyone else, obviously, the club want to know we've got him, and it's trying to generate. I mean, to be honest, that's positive. Sam Todd's probably a one-man band or him and an assistant. Yeah. They're saying, let's get Harry Gray. Let's generate a bit of positivity in the club. It's all doom and gloom. Let's do something. We've got this guy who's worth 40 million. Man City want him. Ami said there were 6 other clubs interested, but he chose Rotherham. Which is a credit to whoever's working behind the scenes to get this lad in. And I do really hope he does well. And I think he will start Saturday. If obviously nobody knows about Ndombe, what's going on. If Ndombe's fit, obviously Gray said he's been speaking to Ndombe yesterday in one of his 20 interviews that he's done. So Gray said he spoke to Sam. And so it looks like that partnership is going to be up and running. With Hugo on the bench, so I think, but obviously with Denzel Hall injured, we'll see. But yeah, I think that's going to be a good partnership. Obviously, the best partnership we can get in these circumstances.
Yes. Well, let's just read some comments. Jake Sheard, Wesley. So I've already said he's not very well. He's got quite a bad cold and a bad cough, and he's in coughing every 2 minutes, so he couldn't come on because he'd just be coughing all the time. Tom Swift, sounds like Stockport have drastically improved the infrastructure and invested in the right areas where, as we have stagnated and are going backwards at a rapid pace. Yeah, Tom, couldn't agree. But one of the reasons I want to kind of hear Stockport's stories because I was trying to generate some positivity. We can go that way as well at some point. Yeah. It might be 2 years, might be 5 years, might be 10. Who knows? But there's a chance that we could do that. Whatever you think of Tony Stewart, he has to be close to his tenure because he's quite an old guy. No offense, but he is quite an old guy. And, is he fit enough to kind of carry on doing this as well? So I don't think Stewart will be here that much longer, one way or the other. Only thing is, Hamshaw said there would be some pleasant surprise as far as injuries. So, yeah, maybe some players coming back. They could still get injured, very funny. Rotherham game, I think Stockport in 5-0. Tom Swift, we don't cross, I don't provide space to strikers. Paul isn't going to cope with the hoop ball very well. Yeah, unfortunately, I do agree, Tom. John, I'm reading this in a nice possible way. A 17-year-old won't keep us up, especially under Hammett. Also, hello, chaps. Hello, John. Again, you can't argue with that, really. If I told you that, regardless of the players, if I said to you, we're going to sign a 17-year-old lad on loan, I think all fans would be concerned. Now, I get this lad's quite hyped up, but yeah, disconcerting. Wrong club for him with how we play. Again, we've already said that, agreed. A Tete loan going back will free another loan. That's true. Because I don't think it's a Tete out and Gray in. I don't think it is. I like the idea of him and Nombe. The defence will not know what to focus on. Again, that's what you said, him. And Tom, will Nombe's hamstring last more than one game? Again, one of the things I don't like about the club at the minute is we don't get any information out of the club. I have no idea if Nombe's fit, if he's injured, if he wants to play, if he don't want to play. No one actually knows. The fact he's not been sold yet, because that was the rumour, would suggest that he's not getting sold in January. But again, no one knows. The club never really pass information on, which is frustrating. No. Right, Tom. So we've got our first signing in. Brilliant. Striker. What else do you think we need as a minimum in this window? Positions, please.
How many?
Yeah, how many and what positions are the priority?
Right. So I think we need another central midfielder. Maybe a box to box. We need another centre half, definitely. If I was being greedy, I would ask for another goalkeeper, but I think Dawson's done okay. I don't have much faith in his understudy at all. I think, and probably another striker, to be honest with you, because are we going down the route now? It's going to be Nombe and Gray, and then Hugel.
Yeah, I imagine on Saturday, I think Gray will 100% start, and unfortunately for Adam, I actually think it'll be Hugel who starts. I'm not saying that's what I want. I just think it'll be Hugel who starts. If Nombe's fit, I think he'll just be on the bench personally. But even say you're right, Tom, that's 3 strikers. You can't pass Cody as a striker, to be fair, because he's never fit. So we do need another striker as a minimum.
We need 4. We need 4 minimum. We need with Hall being injured now and Coletta still out, probably a lone wing back maybe from somewhere, a centre half and a midfielder, central because of the injuries.
Adam, thoughts yourself? Do you agree with that? Do you think we need less than that, more than that? What do you think?
Well, unfortunately, because our squad's full, we can only sign 2 more players. Obviously, because
one thing. Harry Gray doesn't actually count towards the 25.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So Harry Gray's gone out, but Harry Gray's come in, but 3's gone out, so we can only sign 2 more. Obviously, Sheriff's gone, Ateti's gone, and the defender, what's his face? Holmes. So we can only sign 2 more.
We said though, what they could do, I'm not saying he will do this, but we all assume that Coyote will be registered. He could be deregistered and you could sign someone to replace him. You could do that.
You could do that, but will they do that? I mean,
I don't know. If Coyote's out for season, then you'd deregister him, wouldn't you? If Coyote is only going to be fit from March, arguably, I'd rather we deregister him and bring someone in than risk him and he comes back in March, personally. And what I'm trying to say is there are options like, you're right, you can only have a squad of 25, you can't go over that. Yeah. You can only have 5 loans in the match day squad. You can still have more than 5 loans in your squad, though. You can only have 5 in the match day squad. So we could have 10 loans and pick 5, to be fair. So you could do that.
No, I don't think you can. Our squad's full. We can only sign 2 more.
Well, so you're saying it's in terms of the 25. Yeah, sorry. I'm saying if we had 25, right, we could have 10 loans in that 25. That's allowed. But you're saying we've got 23
2 more spaces.
Okay. Yeah. I'd have to check, to be fair, because we have had a lot go out. Like you said, you named 3 there. We might sell someone as well. You could sell someone, couldn't we?
But don't forget, McGuckin's come back. He's part of the squad. He's come back.
Yeah, no, but
he's injured. He's injured, though, isn't he? He's injured.
Well, I don't know.
He's still part.
I thought he was injured. I thought he was injured, but I'm sure he's been playing for. Is it Eastleigh or on loan now?
Eastleigh, yeah.
Yeah.
So as I understand, we only have 2 places in our squad now, so we can only sign 2 more players.
Unless someone else goes out.
But who do you think could go out? So honestly, who I want in, I'd like another centre half, and I would, I think I did like Can, but what I saw the other night, I've seen Dawson all season. I just think his long balls and he's always shouting at players. I just think, obviously, we're not going to get mind you, this keeper's been coming and going all week. I know Barnsley's released the keeper and somebody else has signed him. Bradford signed couple.
The Barnsley lad is a young keeper. I'll got his. I've never been
Chelsea.
Yeah, I've never been bothered about I've never been a big fan of Dawson myself. I agree with you. I think he's had a good season actually. I would rather stick with an experienced goalkeeper in Dawson, who I do know makes a mistake, but I'd rather keep him than get a young goalkeeper in, because a young goalkeeper we've not had success with before. I can remember when we brought Keller Roots in, and he was horrendous. Keller Roots.
Awful. What about Emi Martinez and Roderick we bought from?
I know, you're right. Emi Martinez was more like 22 than when we had him. He wasn't like a young.
Roderick from Fulham. I just think we can do better than Dawson. Dawson, whenever he makes a mistake, he's just shouting, going mad.
Yeah,
and Dawson,
I get your point. I do get your point. Surely you think we need to strengthen elsewhere first before we improve the goalkeeper.
No, I agree with you there, Bez. I think he's the least of our worries.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, do you not agree with that?
Well, I'll go centre half, because I think, although Baptiste, I like Baptiste.
I do.
When Agberi come in, I absolutely loved Agberi. I'm thinking the first 5 games Agberi played, I'm thinking, wow, this guy's worth about 10 million. He's coming from Celtic. and then unfortunately the last game he were a bit all over the show. But it seems to be how it happens when they come back from injury. Like Tom Holmes' first game, nobody can tell me Tom Holmes' first game and what he were when he come back from injury. He cost us about 4 goals when he come back. But same with Agberi now. Against Huddersfield, Agberi were absolutely all over the show, and he didn't know what they were.
They all were, Adam. They all were.
I want to talk about that, though, because I think you're right. I want to quickly talk about Tom Holmes, because it's so amazing that, Tom Holmes went from being the best ever debut centre-half we've ever seen to, one of our worst players. Now, how does that happen? To me, and you're not going to like this, Adam, to be fair, one of 2 things happened here. One, he weren't fully. This is not what you don't like. But one, he's not fully fit, and he was still injured, and that's why he was struggling. Right? It's got to be one that, or you have got to have a go at the manager, because maybe the manager is playing him when he's not fit. Maybe the manager's telling him to do something that he don't want to do, and he didn't agree with it. It's one of the 2, because you can't go from being an exceptional. And anyway, everyone said he was brilliant in that game against Exeter. And a lot of people say to me, well, it were only Exeter. And it doesn't matter. The reason he was exceptional wasn't actually through defending. It was his distribution. It was his leadership. He was shouting at players and getting them motivated. It wasn't to do with his defending as such. So how you can go from that to being one of our worst ever signings, I just don't know, really. I just don't get it. I don't know, really. Let me just pick up some more comments. Right. Will non-based hunting last for more than 1 game? John went no. James, which you said, evening, gents. Harry Gray will be amazing for you. I hope so, James. Hamshaw is not a good coach, Adam. He's not fit to mow the pitch. That's it, you, Adam. John Sullivan, is this live? Yes, John, I hope it's live. Paul Ramage, if our scouts were that good, we wouldn't be in this situation we find ourselves in now. Completely agree. No, John, it is live, not pre-recorded. Also, there's Get Nicky on the show. Would be good for our podcast, okay? Someone's put live. John Sullivan, how many could say Real Madrid were interested? Don't believe a word he says. Or John's not happy with Hamshaw, sorry. Mark Fitzmore Owl, saying love boys, good luck, Rotherham United from Sheffield. Fitzmore Owl, S3, tell Lee I send my love. There you go, Lee. I love her there for you. John Blundell, for me, for players with 6 months left on their contracts that are the problem. Williams the other night was a disgrace. Trafford team meant to captain. I wouldn't let him captain a Rome. And to be fair, I agree with this. it's strange, but these players who are out of contract, there's an argument to say that they're not interested. They don't care because they're out of contract. But previously, last season, for example, some of these players actually improved when the manager was sacked and then Hamshaw came in.
Yeah.
And we felt they improved because they realised that some were out of contract and they were going to try and win a contract elsewhere. So I kind of half disagree with what John's saying there, because I think it goes the other way, where you're out of contract, you actually start performing, so then other clubs notice you and you can get a move rather than, be on a free transfer for a long time. John, no. Was Luton lad out? Gray in? Not sure what that. Forward, we've actually done what Stockport have now. It seems to fall apart again, just as bad as Vu. Families in his own way. Yeah, again, I do know what you're saying. We kind of had a reset when Stewart came in, got the ground, got into the championship, and it's kind of all fallen apart. I do agree. Maybe they'll have to Stockport. Maybe this is just a temporary thing, and they end up falling back down the leagues and struggling again financially, etc., etc. So you could be right there, Paul. John Sullivan, are we keeping Go? Anyone? No, we have no idea, I'm afraid. Hopefully. He hasn't gone back yet.
To lose him, we're done.
Yeah, I know. You'd be struggling there, wouldn't you? Rotherham full team, not sure what that's about. Definitely the goalkeeper, yeah. We've obviously.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so as well.
Johnson, we need a Sourdough, Prince Fizz, Tobias, 2 wingers, 1 second fielder, 1 centre back, right back. Definitely a goalkeeper and a manager. James, evening, gents. Harry Gray, we're class for only 17 years old. I get it, but this kid is different. Gray, he can play anywhere in midfield up top. Yeah. Also, it's come through again that James, not sure why. Doesn't matter who plays Saturday, he will persist with 3 at the back, which agreed he will do. No plan B. A group of players who don't want to play for the manager. Hutch, think we are hoping he comes in as a forward. 3 back, 5 back, we are doomed. Wing, 10 or up top, he will change your team going forward. So James is saying here that Gray's, because I see Gray's like a 6'2" target man. Like,
yeah, he's a striker.
Okay, yeah. So what have you actually heard? Because like a striker can be like a pacey striker who can play on the wing like Ronaldo, right? I thought it was more like a target man. This kid, what do you know?
Yeah, you're right. He's like a
target man.
What's the striker? Like a
Alan Shearer.
Yeah, like an Alan Shearer type role. He's tall. But I think him and Ndombe would complement each other perfect. And Ndombe is going to do the running. He can do the run. He's like the finisher. It's like, I mean, I've only obviously seen his clips from our watching today.
Yeah, you can't judge him on that, to be fair.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you're only playing YouTube under 18.
Stu will have to act if we get involved Saturday. So let's ask this question, Tom, you first. If Rotherham get hammered, so 4-5-0, do you think that's the end of the road for the manager? Not what you want, what you think will happen.
What I think will happen, I think it has to happen because is it Wimbledon we've got at home after that?
Yeah, so after this game, we have the next 3 games are the most important games for Rotherham over the last 10 years, I'd say. You've got Wimbledon at home, which is a must-win. You've got Northampton Town at home, which is a must-win. And you've got Exeter City away, which I'd say is a must-not-lose. So,
yeah, I think depending on the performance, Bez, if we go and lose maybe, 3-2 at Stockport, but there's a performance there, and there's some sort of green shoots, a bit like, hang on, something's happening here, he will keep his job. If we go there, and what it was like on Tuesday night, where them bunch of cretins just jogged about, not giving a toss, right? It'll be curtains, it'll be game over. It all comes down to not necessarily the win or the result, it'll come down to the performance, what happens on Saturday.
Okay.
My opinion.
Adam, agree with that, Tom?
Yeah, I agree, definitely. But something I just want to go back to, I remember you mentioned McWilliams was captain Tuesday.
He was, yeah.
I thought that was Williams' worst performance I've ever seen him play. Can you remember when McWilliams were tracking there? Obviously, it were our new right back. He were only a young lad.
Yeah, James Clark. Yeah.
Yeah, James Clark, and he come in, and McWilliams before, and McWilliams just quit. You think as a captain, why has he chose? Obviously, I do like Cammy, but why has he chose McWilliams as captain to do that? To slide in and why is Hugo not captain anymore? Hugo captain pre-season.
Yeah. To be honest, I was going to ask you the same question. For number one, I just want to double check that McWilliams were captain. I don't know if he was.
Yeah, he were captain. Obviously, I think he lost his armband, but McWilliams were the captain. And I saw this, and I'm thinking, as a captain, and he's cutting inside you like that, and you're just stopping. And that's why I think McWilliams, I think all these players, literally, I know there's 18 out of contracts, so I'm going to have to topic here, but I know there's 18 out of contracts. And I think, apart from Powell, I can't see. I mean, Rafferty, you don't get in team, so I would have given Rafferty a contract, but I can't see anyone else getting a deal.
We'll not discuss the contracts yet. We've got that's probably something we'll do closer to the end of the season. Because I do think it can change between now and then. Let's just carry on with the comments because I'm struggling to keep up with these comments. So, Paul Ramage, can we deregister fall on the floor, Hugo? I'm sure Adam would love that.
Yeah, we can, hopefully. We can get his wages as well.
What I would say is, whether you like him or not, Hugo, I don't think he'll be at the club next season. I think he will probably move on, to be fair. Yeah. So, there you are, Adam.
He'll be going to some Gateshead United, somewhere like that.
He'll get a League Two club, like Joe. He'll get someone. If Salford are in League Two, he'll get someone like Salford.
He'll get a Port Vale because that's obviously where he came up.
He'll go Bromley. He'll go Bromley. My bet.
No, he's from North East.
Yeah, Middlesbrough.
That's where he.
Port Vale's not North East though.
I know it's not, but he lives in North East. Port Vale was his first club.
He could go to Hartlepool. He made his name on loan at Hartlepool under Ronnie. Yeah. So he could go to Hartlepool. Right, hope so much. We need someone inspirational. Yeah, McGookin done his cruise shit out for the season. Okay, he's injured then. So there you are, Adam. That is another player who won't be registered. Good show, lads, as always. Thanks, Shelley. McGookin's out for the season, so we can register him. There you go. That's confirmation. Sorry, Adam. You're going to say something?
No.
Is that there? That is decent. Yeah, he started the game on Tuesday. He did struggle, but he might not be fit. We don't know. But he definitely played on Tuesday. Dawson needs to play to end of season. Doesn't help. We won't defend the box. Yeah, I do agree with that. Although you can have a with Dawson, the defending's shocking. So you can't be a great goalkeeper when the defending's that bad, really.
You tell me if we had Johansson, would be the same. Absolutely no chance.
I don't think Johansson would have made that big a difference now. Because what I would say about Dawson is he's actually made a lot of good saves. Yes, his handling's not been as good, but those saves that he's made, I'd say that Johansson would make as well. I don't think Johansson this season would have gained us that many more points, personally. What do you think, Tom?
Well, I think we've been spoilt over the years with goalkeepers, haven't we? No, the way we performed, I don't think we could have had. We could have had Banks in the net. We could have had Johansson. We could have had Martinez. We could have had, a cat. The cat in the net. The cat in the net. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Ben. I think the performance has been shocking. So yeah.
I agree, Tim. Obviously, means Tom, Ian. Great show tonight, lads. Stockport fans showed that it isn't all doom and gloom, and the whole show has been more uplifting.
He was great. He was great. He was a really good guy.
He was good. Good luck, Rotherham United. Big up league from Sheffield. S3 Owl Fitmore Owl. Cheers.
Go on, Mark.
King of the Patriots. Good to tune in. Good to tune in. Here is Bushy. Is that Bushy? Is it? Not sure.
What one is 50 accounts?
Yeah. Anyway, hello, King of the Patriots. Next season we'll be rebuilding again. Yeah, fine. King, he's quite poorly. Okay, yeah. Where is Bushy? Yeah, he's not very well. So
there they are.
Yeah. Johnny talks. Get Bushy to buy the club. Seeing his house the other day. Wow. And a motor. Can he not buy us? Yeah. If hopefully he could. Yeah. Gray's 5'9". Okay, he's not a target man. Okay, Mark Fitzgerald, please tell me that I'm ready to a Wednesday Rotherham show together. Cheers. Good luck for the weekend from Fitzgerald. Thanks, Mark. D White asks, all we can do is see. We cannot put our C's on a 17-year-old lad. Yeah, agreed. Could be 8 points of getting out of the relegation zone. Yeah, that's true, unfortunately.
Really sad,
McWilliams and Hall are garbage. A bit harsh on Hall, I think, but he's out for 3 months anyway. Well, he needs to go to North East Doll office. That's Jordan Hugo.
Jordan Hugo, yeah.
Alan Bates, how can strikers score when there's no creativity in the midfield? Again, correct. I agree. Now, just quickly, we are close to finishing now. We've done an hour and 15. But what does worry me about this new signing is, unless it is Thierry Henry or Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi, where he picks the ball up and beats 10 men and scores, how is this kid going to score when we create 0 chances? Adam, that's for you, because I know you're obviously a big Hammy fan, but look, we are the lowest, it's a fact, we're the lowest XG performing team in League One. So how are we expected to score goals when we do not create?
Well, obviously I'm going to go positive, and I think Ndombe scores goals, and I think with him, with Gray up front, we're just gonna, I don't know.
You just don't know, do you? I mean, it's just.
I'd love to be more positive, but
this is the thing, right? This is the thing with Hugo. Like, I know you're not a big fan of him, right? And obviously we like him, but you can't blame Hugo at all for this.
No, if Hugo's plays, we don't score goals. When Hugo plays, we don't score goals. So I think Gray and Ndombe will at least give us a chance to get some goals.
But who's passing to them? Who's passing to them, Adam?
You see, when Hugo's not playing, we've not scored either, though, Adam. That's what I don't get. Like,
can you imagine starting 4-0 away? Harry Gray gets 2 and Ndombe gets 2. It'll be absolute pandemonium, but I don't believe it.
Right.
A 1-0 win.
Yeah, go on. A 1-0 win. Carry on. A 1-0 win, right. Yeah. Right then, lads, we have come to the end of the show. Again, we've had quite a lot of fans. We're live, obviously, still now. A lot of people watching. It's the most comments that I've ever had to read out. So everyone who's commented, thank you. Thank you so much. It's made the show easier to run. Lee will be back with you on Monday with myself and Tom and maybe Adam. This show will be hosted. This show will be hosted by myself every Thursday, just for info. Lee will still be on it, but it'll be myself who hosts it and kind of organises it. So if you ever expect Lee on this one hosting, I'm sorry, you're going to have to look with my ugly mug, I'm afraid. But everyone, thanks for joining. Tom, as always, legend. Con, rely on you all the time. You are always here. Thank you. And Adam, again, didn't expect you to come on, so I really appreciate you coming on. It would have been more difficult for me and Tom. So brilliant, Adam.
Adam.
Yeah, go on, Adam.
Bez, let's get Tomo next to me here.
Tomo next to you. You want Tomo on? I've already asked him. He don't want to come on. He's not going to come on. So, so everyone, cheers. And what do we always say at the end of the show?
Up the Millers.
Millers.
Cheers, everyone. Bye.